Okay, it looks like we are live. We are live, and we might have a little bit of a pregame show today. A little bit of a pregame show, depending on how the audio is. We'll be checking on that here in a moment. And this is a very special broadcast. Very special broadcast. We're going to talk about Limmer boots. Okay, it looks like. And I used to call it Limer, but it's not Limer. It's Limmer. Limmer. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about some heavy-duty hiking boots. Heavy-duty hiking boots. Let's see if I can pull up a... Well, actually, got one right here. Got one right here. This is a Limmer boot that I had made in the late 80s. And so they're about 30 years old now. And there you go. Still in really good condition. As you know, I take care of my gear. I don't abuse my gear. And there they are. I've got a couple other pairs of hiking boots, if you will, that I rotate with these. I believe in rotation of shoes. And what they do is they'll make these for you custom. I'm going to button this. I don't like having all my chest hairs exposed. Where's the button? We'll just, how will we button this? We'll just button this up. Because some people complained on one of my broadcasts that they didn't like seeing my chest hair. So what we'll do, we'll pretend like we're in a storm. We'll do the storm button there. There we go. We're out on safari and it's storming, so I have to button this up. This is, by the way, this was Ralph Lauren, back when they used to make their items in the USA, United States of America. This was Ralph Lauren. I almost never wear this thing, but I figured I'd throw it on since we're talking about heavy-duty hiking boots. Figured I'd wear something heavy-duty. Okay, let's see. And Greneth 7, I bought my light hikers in 1999 from LL Bean, and they're still in great shape. Good work, Mr. Shipp. Thank you. Limmer's in the house, Mr. Q. And I have a client that, subscriber, that said that he is ordering. He's going to order a pair of Limmers. And I think he said it's an 18-month wait at this point for Limmer Customs. So Eduardo's in the house. He says HD straps are on the way. Okay, we want a full report when you get them. Lance is in the house. Triforce Rich is in the house. Eduardo, Craig, check your email sent pictures of 3D printed watch box that moves the watch. Okay, we'll look at that. Sorry, but as white male in my 40s, I only endorse New Balance. Kyle's in the house, and Carlos is all over the place. As a Mexican, I endorse Timberlands. There you go. I like the Timberlands, the old school ones that were made in the USA, but I wouldn't buy any of their imported stuff. I would pass on all of that. Derek's in the house. Craig, do you have a special room for your broadcasting, or is it a spare room? This is just part of a room. It's only about, the area that I have set up for this is about, I'd say, 6 feet by that way by, 5 feet this way. And this is permanently set up. And I set it up here in the corner of a room with that backdrop behind it, just to give a backdrop, if you will. But yeah, this is permanently set up. All I have to do is throw a few switches and the whole thing is ready to go. So not a bunch of fooling around to go live. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't do it. Triforce Rich is in the house. Carlos, I heard you tried on a bunch of clasps. Can you please disclose to us your ranking of the clasps and how you feel about the 231 clasp? There you go. Yeah, but he only wore it for a very short period of time, so he wouldn't really know. You have to wear it for literally weeks before you realize how significant the clasp on the 231 is. Donald's in the house. Craig, Mark Goldberg, the dog man, just bought the Breitling Super Ocean Rainbow Your thoughts on this watch? Somebody just sent me the unboxing, and I looked at it. Yeah, I would pass. It would not be a watch that I would have any interest in. But, you know, to each their own, right? And be careful, Craig. You do not want to expose your chest tattoos. Yeah, there you go. Leslie's in the house. I wonder if she has any tattoos. You know, tattoos are the hipster thing. I wonder if Leslie has any tattoos. I'm not a big fan of tattoos. I think they're a waste of money, to tell you the truth. I'd rather take that money and buy Bitcoin with it personally. But again, to each their own. Leslie's in the house. She says, hey, Craig, I called Peter Limmer this morning and asked them if they can custom make a size 3 in kids for me, but they told me the lead time is 2 years. Yeah, it's a long wait to get Limmers. It really is. So sorry, Leslie. You might want to call Russell Moccasin Company and see what their weight is. Because I think you might want the Russells. We're going to compare. We're going to talk about the Limmers and the advantages of those, and we'll talk about the Russell Moccasins also, because that's another very good option. Craig, my motorcycle gloves are brown leather, and they're turning black on the palms where I hold the handlebar grips. Is this normal? That's a good question. I can understand them getting darker, but turning black. First of all, for motorcycle use, I would have started with black. I think all black is the way to go on the motorcycles, but there you go. Eduardo, my brother once had a pair of fake Timberlands. He called it his Chumberlands. Craig, you look like you're in Her Majesty's Africa Corps going back to your British roots. There you go. Triforce Rich in the house. Craig, what is those boots, Timberlands? No, these are Limmers, L-I-M-M-E-R. We're going to show, there's the Facebook page of Peter Limmer and Sons. Check that out. And let's look in the photos real quick here, and then we're going to get to my email. We're going to get to my email. There were some interesting photos in here. I was taking a look earlier. And yeah, here's one that this guy hit with an axe. And he was, I guess, chopping wood or something, and the axe went off target and caught his Limmers and put a nice gash in him, but his foot was okay. The Limmers kind of saved his foot, if you will. And so, yeah, that's the kind of thing you see with Limmers. They're pretty heavy duty items. So there you go. There's some that are worn out, getting ready to fix them. Send them back and he'll fix them for you. Wow, I don't know what happened to those. If a dog chewed the top off them. I don't know how those got tore up like that. Guess they're going to fix them. Cool folks, cool folks. Okay, well, anyway, all right, so let's go and look at the email real quick, and then I'll try to catch up on the chat. I'm really having trouble keeping up here lately. I'll let that reload and see if we go. There we go. All right, let's look at the watch box first. Okay. All right. Looks fancy. Oh, geez. Rolex watch box. That's good for these box watch guys. These guys that buy their watches to put in boxes. That'd be a good thing for a quote collector to get. Keep their watch in mint unworn condition. Absolutely. Get a box like that. That's a good place for a box watch. Let's see. Craig's thoughts on Doc Martens. I would pass on Doc Martens. I don't think there's any reason to go there. I think there are a lot of better options. Hey, Craig, is today okay? Sure. If you think your Skype is ready and up to it, why don't you call in about, can you call in about in about 20 minutes once we catch up with the chat here and everything. We're going to have a special guest going to Skype into the show to introduce himself. And the lovely Bree is in the house. She has Skyped in the past. We're going to get Lamont to Skype in. That would be cool. Carlos has Skyped in. He's in the house. Yes, I tried some at first glance of the 3 clasps that can be adjusted with watch on the wrist. From the aesthetic point of view, Glashute is greater than Doxa is greater than 231. Okay. For those of you that care about aesthetics overall, if aesthetics trumps everything else, then there you go. For me, it's all about function, and I think this looks fine. By the way, I've got mine out 1 millimeter. I've got mine extended out 1 millimeter there. This thing looks pretty robust, if you ask me. Let me give you a close-up. Looks pretty freaking awesome, eh? Look at that 22 millimeter wide bracelet. Really, really, really classy. And look at that heavy-duty clasp. Really looks like the business. It looks like the business. Let's get Leslie and Bree's opinions if they're still hanging out. Leslie and Bree, what do you think about the 231? Do you think that looks like the business? What do you think? Leslie says, unfortunately, I have a small tattoo on my ankle. I got it when I was freshman in college. I definitely wish I would have listened to my mom and not gotten it. Well, if it's a small one, it's okay, Leslie. It's okay. It's all right. Don't panic. It's okay. Carlos is in the house. We are missing you yesterday. Lamont, we're missing. Oh, okay. Lamont greater than Megan. No, don't say that. I just like tattoos now, says Leslie. Kind of trashy and not cute. Well, here's the thing. You can always dress yourself up with some clothes or with a watch or whatever, and that you can change up, right? The tattoos are just there all the time. You can't change them up. So I think there's a lot of downsides to it, to tell you the truth, if you think about it that way. Plus, like I say, if you took that same money and put it in Bitcoin, I think you'd be better off. Let's see. Kenneth's in the house. I bought the Limmers several years ago and waited the 2 years, and it was totally worth it. They're great. Kenneth Irwin, there you go. How long did it take you to break them in? Because, folks, I want you to know that these are not for the impatient. They take a while to break in. I actually, story behind mine, I got mine, I wore them a couple times, and I said, man, these are too stiff. These just aren't going to work. And I went back to my other boots that I had already broken in, and I pretty much gave up on these. For 10 years, they sat in my closet. And then I read up on them some more, and I thought about it some more, and I said, listen, I spent a lot of money on those boots. I waited a long time to get them. I should go ahead and try to break them in. So what I did was I wore them for 10 minutes the first day, and then the next day I wore them for like 15 minutes, and then, you know, I just kept wearing them each day, and slowly but surely, believe it or not, they did break in. It took like a month to get them to where they were pretty comfortable, and then another month to where they were like amazingly comfortable. So it really is amazing once you take the time to really break them in, how comfortable then they become. But they are heavy, and they are heavy duty boots. They're no joke. They're the business, right? Let's see. The best boot reviews on YouTube are the ones where they cut the boot open and examine the layers. There you go. Good, Eduardo, good for your dad. I would have whopped your ass, Lamont. Take your dad's day chest to the pawn shop and use the money to pay him back at Lamont. I just went through the system at Nick's Boots, Spokane, Washington, and they're great too. No weight either. Kenneth, okay. Do let us know how those come out. Do share when you get them. Limmers repairs their boots. Reminds me of Britch's Great Outdoors. They would fix their backpacks if they got damaged, no charge, and they gave you a loaner. Yeah, well, I think they do charge. I think if you send the Limmers up there to be repaired or restored, to have new soles put them on, I'm sure there's a fee. I don't think they just do that for free, but they will fix them, absolutely, and they'll resole them. Let's see. I got my own Rolex now, yo. Bought my dad's, yeah, okay. Carlos is in the house. Lamont, do you have any looting around? um, I told y'all, Gott's the Sky Dweller. Okay, for real. Okay. Lance is in the house. Sent a photo of a stunning Breitling. We'll take a look. Eduardo's in the house. I'm going to put the guys who prints those boxes in touch with HC Straps or Aaron Bespoke for partnership. Okay. I've seen the 231 in person. Stunner. Leslie in the house. Leslie came right up and just said the 231 is a stunner. And Kyle says, GS emailed me and they got the limited pieces in the green ones. Okay. Triforce Rich, the 231 looks like a weapon on your wrist. LOL. I actually imagine you with an Explorer. You just need something robust, not all those extra functions. The 39 millimeter has a huge legible dial. Not as legible as this, though. There's that. Leon's in the house. I have no tattoos, but if the Dodgers win the World Series, I'll get one proclaiming that they won. It's been 32 years since they last won, so you might not have to worry about that. DePort is in the house. It's no surprise Dogman has tattoos. Oh, jeez. That poor guy. What a loser. Okay, Carlos is in the house. I sent you an email with a photo watch that I really liked today. Okay, well, look, I went to the last 2 World Series, devastating losses. I will never get over 2017. Leslie in the house sent you an email. Okay, let's catch up on the emails here real quick because we're going to have a call in here in a little while. And let's do a time check while I pull these up. Okay, and here's one from Lance. We're going to pull this up. I'll cut to it once it loads in. Okay. There's the one that Lance sent. I hate all these cookie things. Messages. Cookies. I could care less. If that's solid 18 karat gold, that's neat. But I again, I don't like lugs that don't taper into the case. I like it more flowing than just like stuck on like that. But it's okay. It's okay. I think it would look better with a black strap. But that's just, you know, that's a small detail. Okay, so that's not the end of the world, the Breitling. And now let's go back to the inbox here. And we got a bunch of emails. Let's pull these up. And Leslie sent 5 attachments. Okay. And let's go through these. These are famous people and their watches. Okay. For those of you that always want day-date action, there you go. There's some day-date action. Oh, that's classy. That's classy. Absolutely. Cool. She wears it kind of loose, too, on the wrist. She likes that. Okay. Can't beat that with the Pope with a date just. And there's a date just with some diamonds. Oh, look at this. Okay. There we go. Go back to the stunners while I go to the next email here. 9F Stunner. Yeah, we've seen and talked about this one before. We've talked about this diver before, this 9F diver. Again, I like the case shape on my 231 better than that squared off one. And I just, like overall, I just like the looks of the 231 better. But some people like that one. Some people like that one. Of course, you have the robust reliability of a 9F movement. And here's something that Kyle sent. Okay. Very interesting. That is a nice looking piece. I've seen that watch before. That is a nice looking piece. Look at the shape of that case. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And I guarantee you that bracelet's going to be super comfortable. And it's different looking. I like it. I like that bracelet. Very, very interesting piece. Absolutely very interesting piece. Let's go back here because we've got more in store for you. And Kyle's asking for an opinion on this particular watch. Let me get it up here and I'll cut to it. Okay. Baume & Mercier, 18 karat gold watch, new without tags. Is that rose gold? Looks like it might be like, it's hard to tell if it's yellow gold or rose gold. If it's rose gold, I would pass just right off the top. And plus, I'm not that enamored with that case for some reason. The smallish crown and those crown guards that look kind of half-baked. I don't know. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. But it's not dirt cheap either. But it's not terrible. I guess it might be yellow gold. I can't tell from the pictures if it's yellow gold or not. Obviously, it would have to be yellow gold. But by the way, it's an auction too, so we don't know what that thing's going to sell for. Not hateful, but I don't know if I'd go there. Tell you the truth. Let's see here. Okay, so I think we're caught up on the emails. And let's see, it's definitely a process to break in. I had a similar experience as you did. Also, I was told they have lifetime resoling, but I've never tried to use. I thought they charged to do that. I don't know. That'd be interesting to know. But mine isn't even close to wearing out. So, like I say, I rotate my shoes anyway, and I doubt I will wear these soles out the rest of my life. I have like 4 or 5 pairs of hiking boots that I rotate. It's definitely a process. Okay, I just read that. I have some tattoos. Women have enjoyed them allegedly, but I dress professionally and they're covered. It's more a personal thing. Women should definitely be more careful about tattoos. Yeah, I don't think there's a real valid argument for anybody to get a tattoo, to tell you the truth. But a lot of people do. It seems to be a thing. I don't get it. I don't get it. There are a lot of downsides, and I can't think of one upside to having them. Okay. Leon's in the house. Yep, putting Darvish on the mound in Game 7 was a great idea. Not. Trevor's rich. Astros cheated. Darvish got screwed. Okay, we got some baseball stuff going on. Hey, Craig. Bush shirt or safari jacket. This is, it's a Ralph Lauren polo. And this was back in the day when they used to make them everything in the USA. Or this was made in the USA. So this is a short sleeve. This is also designed. This was before the whole untucked thing. Shirts were designed to not be tucked in. This is designed not to be tucked in. I don't wear this shirt very often. I just pulled it out and wore it today. I mean, I prefer my other safari, straight up real safari shirts made of Egyptian cotton. This might be Egyptian cotton, I'm not sure, but I prefer my professional grade safari shirts when I'm going out into really dicey situations. And this is kind of like a wannabe safari shirt, if you will. So there you go. 231, feeling is great. I must admit that titanium is great. I'll tell you, the more you wear it on your wrist, you're like, oh my God, this watch is so freaking comfortable. It's unbelievable. Triforce Rich says, Carlos, I agree. I wouldn't want the 229. I tried on both, and the titanium makes the watch wear well. Like I say, especially the more you wear it. I've not tried the 229 for sure. Okay, and I want to show you something else before our guest calls in. And I'm going to show you why I got on this whole thing, how I ended up with this watch. You know, the journey that took me to this watch, and took me to all the other Grand Seiko lovely pieces. And the way I'm going to illustrate this is I'm going to show you some photos, folks. I'm going to show you some photos. Bear with me here while I do this. Okay, we're starting with a picture of the Limmers. And these photos have one thing in common. They all have Limmers in them. Okay, they all have Limmers. Okay, see there the Limmers? Now in that picture, I'm wearing an Apple Watch, believe it or not, in that picture. This is a typical Limmer photo that people take and send to them of their shoes, you know, and this view of their boots, right? So I took that as a Limmer tribute. All right, now check out that photo. That photo is from, let me think. When is this photo from? Okay, let's look. This photo is from 2014, okay? 2014. All right. And that is my Shogun. That is my SBDC-007. I think that's the model, the Shogun, the Seiko Shogun in titanium that I really enjoyed wearing. That was a fantastic watch. And the only reason I stepped away from that and stepped up to the Grand Seiko is the accuracy. That watch ran a little bit slow, and I will not put up with a watch that runs slow. And so I ended up selling that, and then I had heard about the Grand Seiko spring drive in titanium, and I said, you know, that would be a heck of a step up from the Shogun. And so I finally found out that there was a dealer, Little Treasury Jewelers, and I made a trek over there, and the rest is history. So that's how that whole thing works. Let's see. A small gold dress watch, Breitling, like finding Hummer the side of the smart suit. Okay. Kim with the IWC. Okay. Pull the trigger on the 2-3 Carlos. You won't regret it. Oh man, he would love it. After he wore it for a while, he would love it. Lance is in the house. Step away from the Breitlings. They're not well made, and you have to fight them for warranty repairs. I agree. Carlos is now. Currently, I'm done on divers. In fact, I'm done on any watches. I hear you, Carlos. There are other things to life. There really are, Carlos. There's always room for another, says Eduardo. Carlos, you have spread the Doxa disease. Everyone wants one now. The Breitling I had seemed well made. Okay. Come on, Lance. Please, back away from the keyboard. Drive for switch. Eduardo, that is exactly the point. The next purchase will never be the end. You either cut it off or just keep buying watches to your grave. Eduardo says I cut myself off for now. My next watch will be in 2 years on my silver wedding anniversary unless a great business comes before. Okay. Doxas are great watches. The build quality on some are iffy and warranty service seems to be sketchy, says Leon. Uh-oh. Carlos, I give the Doxa ambassador credit to Rich Buddy and Blue Shirt. Okay. Eduardo, I just can't think of another piece to add. I don't want to pay over, I gave me a sticker for GMT. There's no way I'm getting one from the AD. I must save up to buy an 18238 for my birthday. That's a good move. Sometimes I remember that it was like, what it was like not to be into wristwatches, simpler times. There you go. Triforce Rich Carlos, the Spectre is perfect for me. Very glad I bought it over the JC. I agree. The style matches me a lot. I'm glad I took my time with the decision. Good. That was a good decision. I tried watching the show Crappy did on the 4th, but it was too depressing. Uh-oh. Y'all still getting unemployment? Got like 4 to go. Okay. No, I'm working 6 days a week now, says Eduardo. Carlos, try looks great on your wrist. A JC would be over the edge on your chicken leg wrist. Uh-oh. Lamont is non-essential. Carlos, he's laughing. I'm serious, I'm crying. Okay. Thanks to the virus and my plantar fasciitis flaring up. I gave up on coordinating my attire. I wore polo shirt and jeans with bedroom slippers to go out to the grocery store yesterday. Leon in the house. Lamont's in the house, all over the place. He's got 12 grand in the bank. Let's see, Triforce Rich, how about if Rolex goes through your Flickr and realizes the adventurer you are, Craig, and decides to offer you a brand deal? Every stream, buy, steal Rolex, GMT, greatest watch ever. Well, they should send me a Pepsi. I'll sing their praises if they send me a Pepsi. I've always liked Rolexes. I've always liked Rolexes. They can send me a Pepsi and I'll take a look at it. Let's see, Eduardo's in the house. I'll probably hear from them about the same time I hear from the Grand Seiko folks, which is never. Oh, jeez. Not that I'm bitter. Eduardo's in the house. I've been into wristwatch. I invited that guy, Joe Kirk, isn't that his name, Joe Kirk? I invited him to Skype into the show anytime. Skype into the show. I gave him my Skype. I said, Skype into the show anytime to talk about the latest news from Grand Seiko, maybe show a watch or two or whatever. Crickets, right? How often have we seen him Skype in? Like, he Skyped into Steve's show one time. Steve did a show he Skyped in, but he hasn't Skyped into my show. Let's see. So that's how that whole thing works. I've been into wristwatches since I was 7, says Eduardo. Craig, you old school GEO. Yeah. To be fair, Rolex would probably let you promote the yellow gold watches and focus on that. I'd go for it. I'd promote a day date. If Rolex agreed to offer you a lucrative deal and hinted at your tossing your GS off a cliff on a live stream, you wouldn't be opposed. I don't know. I don't think I can toss the 002. That thing is so stunning. What I'll have to do, I'm going to have to hide the 002 somewhere and then just pretend like I don't have it anymore. And I'll toss the 005 off a cliff if they give me a day date to wear. I'll toss the 005, but I'll hide the 002 somewhere so that they won't know. I'll say, I don't know what happened to the 002. It just disappeared one day. It just sprouted legs and just disappeared. So the 002's out of the picture. And then like mysteriously some years later it'll like reappear. That's how we'll do that. Let's see. Do I need to add me as a contact on Skype first? You need to put in a request to my Skype and I will approve it. So go ahead and search. I sent you my Skype in the email. Search that on Skype and put in a request to connect to me or whatever, and I should get a message here, and I'll be able to approve it, and then you'll be able to call in. That should be the way it should work. Carlos, Craig, I've heard that you have become a kind of role model for Chip Wong. It seems that he has seen the light, and now he really appreciates you. I'm not so sure about all that. Not so sure about all that. Leon, after GS offered those American edition GS back in June, can you blame him for hiding? Let's see. Kyle Jett, can one of us send a pair of shoes to Beto to repair so he can Skype in? Maybe that would do it. That would be, yeah, if you've got something to repair, absolutely. Or just contact him and put in a good word. Say that you'd like to have him Skype into the show. Because I've invited him, and I didn't hear anything back from him. I invited Peter Limmer, too. Limmer. I shouldn't say Limer. I should say Limmer. I should pronounce his name right. No wonder he doesn't want to call in. But I don't think they're technologically up to it. Kyle says, can one of us... Okay, I just read that. Trevor's Rich. We'll have to position Lance somewhere down the cliff to catch the 005 for his collection. Yeah, that's a good point. We can scam the Rolex people. They won't realize. We'll have Lance down there with a one of those what do you call the thing that they catch butterflies with? Butterfly net or whatever, right? He'll catch the 005. That'll work. Leon's in the house. Well, Steve does have another 002, so you can say you bought another one. There you go. Derek's in the house. I tried Skype a few. It never got working on my phone. Uh-oh. It is a little tricky. Find somebody that's technologically advanced and have them help you with it. Jaden's in the house. Have no idea why Lance wouldn't buy the 005. That's a good question. That's a good point. It's a stunner. It's a stunner. Craig, it's difficult to prove it, but trust me, it is the case. What's the case? What are we talking about now? I'm confused. Okay, Jaden, the young man, wants a Rolex. Treffers Rich, are you enjoying your Omega Spectra? Congratulations, by the way. Jaden, I don't blame him. Okay, I've added you. Wait. Okay, all right, let me accept this invitation. Okay, and this is from London. We're going to have a caller calling in from London. Make sure you turn on your camera. Make sure you turn on your camera so we'll have a video feed. We're going to have a special guest, Assad, I guess. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, calling in from London. From Great Britain. This is an international show, folks. An international show. Let's see. If Lance gets the 005, David is including the strap too. Did he sell it? Is he here? I haven't seen David for a while. David's been missing in action. Kyle, have you heard the Vaver watches small F? Okay, here we go. We got a really big call coming in. Okay.
Hi,
there
Craig.
we go. Okay, let me get my headset on. Give me a second. Okay. All right, we've got a caller. Hello.
Hi, Craig. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, absolutely. And good to have you call in. And you've been a subscriber for a little while on the channel?
Very recently, but like I said to you in the email, I've come across your name on the Archie Luxury channel, and I've even seen you appear on one of the streams. So, but I recently saw some of your videos on bad watch advice, actually.
Yes.
Very recent ones.
Yes, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that around.
There is. But first, yeah, my name is Assad, and I'm from the UK, born and brought up. And I've been into watches ever since I was, a little kid, because my father was in the watch trade for over 40 years in London. So
okay.
I grew up around Rolex catalogs and always hearing him on the phone with his business associates about names like Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, Omega. So yeah, I've definitely been bitten by the bug.
Oh, I hear that. Now, somebody's asking in the chat, are you the London watch collector?
No.
No, you're not. Okay.
Is there a specific London watch collector?
There's a channel, he's called the London Watch Collector. There's a YouTube channel, and he does a lot of videos on really cool watches. And Mr. Q in the chat was asking if that's you. So, no, that's not him. But,
No, that's not me.
But so you've been into watches for a long time. Do you have your own personal collection?
Yeah, now that's kind of evolved. Sometimes it's ballooned, sometimes it consolidates. So it's definitely gone through different metamorphisms. I mean, at the moment, what gets a lot of wrist time at the moment is this Seiko of mine.
Okay. Hold your hand behind it so it'll focus on that, because it's still focusing on the background. Okay, back away from the camera a little bit, because it's still not focusing. Yeah, okay, right there. Right there. Yeah. Well, see, that's nice. It's got nice hands, very legible, very nice dial. What model is that one?
That's the SNZF-17.
Okay.
It's the J1. It's the Japan movement.
Mm-hmm.
I've put I put a green bezel insert just as a bit of fun,
Okay. So you
to make it
did a little bit
seem
of
like a Kermit.
little bit of customizing on it. So that's the one that's hogging your wrist time currently. And
Yeah,
what other pieces do you have?
I've got this. Let me see. I'm gonna have to back away from this. This IWC
Mm-hmm.
GST chronograph in titanium.
Okay.
But
That,
one of the pins has come out, so I need to. The bracelet has kind of come apart a bit, so I need to get a
now
special pin
is
for
that an
that.
integral bracelet?
It's no, it comes apart at this point here. Not
Yeah,
sure
but
how well this focuses.
but it is a proprietary integral bracelet, right?
It is. You
Yeah.
can't put a strap on
You
there
can't put
like
a yeah.
those
That's the problem with an
watches.
integral bracelet watch is once that bracelet fails, then you got to figure out how to get the parts and how to get it. Yeah, I had that problem with my first Seiko Bellomatic back in the mid '70s. I had a Seiko Bellomatic, and it had the integral bracelet, and the bracelet finally failed, and so that kind of like soured me on the whole concept of integral bracelets. Because it wasn't easy to get that thing fixed. Let's see. Let's catch up here. They're talking about G wagons and a bunch of other stuff in the chat. Okay. All right. So what was the impetus for you wanting to call into the show?
I do want to find out a little more on Grand Seiko
Okay.
because I've seen you rock that. Am I correct in thinking you have had some Rolexes in the past, but then you
Oh yes.
decided to go against the sort
Well,
of
yeah.
the crowd,
I wore
not be a sheeple?
Rolexes. I wore Rolexes for 40 years. And I actually did a video on my channel, my transition from Rolex
Nice.
to Grand Seiko. I did a video about that, and I've done
I
a
remember that.
number of videos over the last couple of years. It's been about 2.5 years ago when I bought this 231 diver, this titanium diver, Grand Seiko. And what happened was the way I transitioned to this watch is I had bought the Shogun, the SBDC 007, the titanium Seiko dive watch called the
Yeah.
Shogun, which is about a $800 or $900 watch. Very comfortable, very nice watch, but it was running slow, and I just will not keep a watch that's running slow. A little bit fast is okay because you can just stop it and and then push it back in, and it's a lot easier to adjust, right? But if it's running slow, then you got to remove the minute hand, and it's a cluster, you know what?
Sure.
So anyway, I got rid of that watch. I wore it for a couple of years actually, and I got rid of that watch. And then I found out that there was a Grand Seiko dealer, Little Treasure Jewelers, not terribly far from me, about an hour and 20 minutes drive from me. And so I took a little trek over there, and I had some cash with me, and I made a cash offer on this diver, this 231 diver. This is the SBGA 231, SBGA
Yeah.
231 titanium diver. And I'll tell you what,
Was
it is amazing. It's just super comfortable on wrist. It's dead accurate. It's insanely accurate. And everything functions perfectly on it. I mean, they just nailed it. And I'm in denial where I don't like to wear my reading glasses all the time. And so even without my reading glasses, I can look at this watch in any light and read it very easily. And so it's super functional for me. And then I sold my Date 8, my Rolex Date 8, and I got an 18 karat gold dress watch, Grand Seiko, that was a 9F movement that came from Japan, but it was only 35.5 millimeters, so it was a little bit small on my wrist. And I wore that for a while, and then a subscriber just had to have it, so I sold that to him. So
okay.
then I told Steve, I said, I need a dress watch. I need a gold dress watch. And they came out with the 002, the SBGY 002,
Yeah.
which I then purchased. And this was a few months ago. And so now I've got three Grand Seikos. I've got the SBG in 005, the GMT, which is a 9F movement, the quartz movement, right?
Yeah.
And so I really have an extra watch right now. I really don't need that one. I'm okay with the diver's watch and the dress watch with that rotation, right? When I'm wearing a suit or whatever, I can wear the dress watch. All other times I can wear this 231. That's a great rotation for me. So I always, the 40 years that I wore Rolexes, I always had a two-watch rotation. Generally speaking, it was a day-date and a GMT or a sub, one of those two in rotation with the day-date. Now, for a while, for a couple of years, I did rotate in an Omega, a Seamaster 120 Omega, instead of the steel sport watch. And actually, for a couple of years, I also had a Datejust that I rotated with the day-date. But it was always a day-date and a steel Rolex in the rotation, right? And so now I basically have the gold dress watch and the titanium diver as my rotation. And
Dial on that dress watch is beautiful. Absolutely stunning.
oh, it is. It's got the snowflake basically dial with the gold indices and the gold hands. It's absolutely stunning. We'll pull it up on the screen there. Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm really happy because I feel that both of these watches are very robust. They're going to hold up well. They're very accurate, more accurate than any Rolexes I've had. So to me, and they're super comfortable, by the way. The 002 with the deployant clasp is very easy to put on and off and very comfortable on wrist. Every bit as comfortable as the Date 8 was, and the Date 8 was very comfortable. So to me, I've got no downside here. I've got a beautiful dress watch. I've got a great sport watch. And they don't have to have the name Rolex on them. They just don't. I don't need it. And these meet my needs. I mean, so that's kind of where I am right now with all that.
So the 229 is in steel and the 231 is in titanium.
Yes,
right?
yes. And the other advantage
So do you know
for the 231 is it also has that little touch of gold on the dial, which I love. The GS is in gold, which gives a little bit of a pop. The stainless steel, the 229, does not have that, right? So that gives it a little bit of differentiation. But yeah, the comfort on wrist of the titanium is just amazing.
Yeah, the lightness is,
Yeah, it's
insane.
not. Yeah, and it's not just the lightness. There's something about the qualities of titanium that it's more comfortable
It's
to your skin.
hypoallergenic.
It's that plus also I think the way it transfers heat. There's some differences, and so you can read. There's some threads about it where they talk about it, but there's some reasons why it's more comfortable on wrist, and there's also reasons, by the way, why 18 karat gold is more comfortable on wrist as well than steel. Steel is not a desirable material for a watch. The only reason watches are made out of steel is to keep costs down. It's not because it's the best option.
Interesting.
And so for years, a lot of watches were made out of gold for good reason. It's friendlier to the skin. So yeah, Megan's in the house and she says hello. And does Assad think of what does Assad think of micro brands? Got a question for you.
You mean brands such as Bremont?
I
Or
guess they're talking about any brands that are fairly limited production, smaller companies, that sort of thing.
yeah, I think my heart changes. Sometimes I think, is the watch about resaleability? Is it about something that just appeals to you? Um, and like I said, I kind of waver between these two opinions or these two schools of thought. At the moment, I'm more into the well-established brands,
I agree.
be it from Seiko to, I mean, I think Omega at one time, I think the early 2000s, there was a time when brands like Omega, IWC, Panerai were actually approaching Rolex's coolness.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But then I I believe they basically made mistakes. I
Mm-hmm.
think Omega started becoming. I've thought of the phrase unlimited editions because it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
death by limited editions.
Yeah,
And Panerai,
it confuses me that these brands do these kinds of things. Grand Seiko does the same thing, a whole bunch of these limited editions. And
do they?
it seems like to me, yeah, it seems like to me that it would be smarter for some of these companies to just copy Rolex's playbook. You know, make the same watch over and over again. Make, you know, little tweaks here and there, but basically you've got a GMT, you've got a sub, you've got a Datejust, you've got the core models, right? And
Yeah.
just sell them. Sell that brand, sell that particular model and the benefits of it and all that, and don't confuse people, right? It seems like to me it's too confusing to have a whole bunch of different models and all these limited editions and all these different SKU numbers, and it seems counterproductive to me. But the folks at Grand Seiko, they like it. They say it sells watches because people want to buy that limited edition and add it to their quote collection. So hey, if it's working, right? And here's the thing, like with a Datejust, you can always get a different dial color. They'll come out with like a different dial color. They'll do the same thing on a date, like, you know, for 2018, we have this dial, right? But it's still the same watch. It's just a different dial configuration, right? That's
Yeah.
okay. I mean, that's not confusing. It's just a different dial. So Grand Seiko could do that sort of thing to mix things up. But but here's the thing: they do have some core models like this diver that they've been making for years, and they haven't changed it. They've got the Snowflake, which they've been making for years, and they haven't changed it. So they do have some core models, right? In addition to the limited edition ones that they come out with.
So does your one say Seiko on the top in capitals and then Grand Seiko underneath?
No. In 2017, they was it 2017? Yes, I think it was 2017 that they went to the new dial, and the new dial
Okay.
has GS at the top and Grand Seiko, and doesn't have Seiko at the top and Grand
Okay.
Seiko at the bottom. The previous ones had Seiko at the top and Grand Seiko at the bottom, and they were a lot more cluttered, if you ask me. I mean, I think that it does look a lot cleaner now to have it the way it is. They didn't need to have that redundancy of Seiko at the top and Grand Seiko at the bottom. I mean, you know, it's Grand Seiko, you know it's a Seiko. I mean, it speaks for itself, right? So yeah, I think that was a smart move, and
Yeah.
I definitely prefer the units with the newer dial.
I think the clasp on yours is fantastic.
Well, see, that's the thing. A lot of people poo-poo it, right? Because they think that
Really?
it's not milled. You know, there's got stamped components in it, and it's not as well made as the Rolex and all this stuff. But here's the thing: it is super functional. And when I got mine, I looked at the clasp and I was like, well, it's okay. You know, I even asked Steve. I said, well, is there a different clasp I could put on it that's not quite as complicated? I don't really need the extension thing. I need the micro adjustments, but don't really need the extension thing. And then he said, well, try it for a while and see what you think or whatever. So I wore it, and after a couple of weeks, I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing is fantastic. I love it. So easy to extend it and to adjust it, and it's just so comfortable on wrist that I wouldn't change a thing now. So it's the
Do you need
type
to
of thing.
undo it to adjust the
No, no,
clasp?
no, no. I can. If you can see here, I can flip up the
Yeah.
flip lock, and that
Okay.
allows the extension to come out. Okay,
Oh
and then
wow.
I can literally close the flip lock, and it's a one-way ratchet. I can push it in like one click at a time and get it exactly where I want it, right? So right now I want it out 1 millimeter, so now it's out 1 millimeter.
That's
And
really smart.
and it's very quick and easy to do it, absolutely. And then it still
Yeah.
has the 4 micro adjustments in the clasp
Okay.
that seasonally, like in the summertime, like now, I let it out about a month ago. I let
Yep.
it out 1 notch, and
Mhm.
then when winter comes, I'll pull it in one notch. So that works very well.
Well, the Japanese and their movements and their innovation in particular is, they're not following the crowds. They're really trailblazing, and they're game changers in a way. I just think, what's that one small thing that's missing that would make Grand Seiko even bigger, like a sleeping giant? What can we do to wake up that sleeping giant?
Well, here's the thing about Grand Seiko, and people talk about their marketing isn't that great and all this. And I've talked about that. But here's the thing. They have a very limited capacity. There's a lot of hand work in these watches. Their
Yeah.
manufacturing is limited, and they're pretty much selling right now any watches they can make. So they really don't need to do any more advertising or do any more expansion or add any more dealers or anything like that, because their problem is getting the skilled technicians to do the work, because it takes a couple of years to train them to be able to do it, because there's a lot more handwork in the Grand Seikos than there is in Rolex watches. So
Yeah.
it's a lot more difficult for them to scale up their production capacity. And so that's the biggest issue that they're facing right now is being able to produce enough watches.
I'm
So
just wondering, in the UK, I don't think they're that big. I'm not sure where there's even a Grand Seiko boutique as such in London,
I
but
think there is one. I think there is one in London. Let,
probably
let
there
me
must be.
let me read a couple of the comments here. Triforce Rich
Yeah.
says, "What I will say is to be careful with GS. If you want superb finishing and artistry, then the brand is for you. If you expect a Swiss feeling watch with the finest fitment and feel, you'll be disappointed." I don't know. I've had
I don't
Swiss
think most
watches. I don't
Swiss
think.
watches have that
Yeah,
nowadays.
I think that quality on the Grand Seiko is just stellar. I think it's over and above the Rolex in a lot of ways. So
That's well
yeah,
known. That's well known across the
yeah.
sort of watch YouTubers.
I don't think anybody that moves from Rolex to Grand Seiko will really be disappointed. I mean, teach their own, but I doubt. I haven't talked to anybody that's made that move that has been disappointed with the move. Let's see. Eduardo says, I feel that Rolex can make some models over and over because their watches were the first for many things, such as being automatic, have a date, and a weekday in full. But no, I think it's mainly their marketing, where they've really marketed these watches to where everybody wants a Submariner, everybody wants a GMT, everybody wants a quote president, which is actually a day-date.
Yeah.
Their marketing is superb. So I think that's what's caused them to be successful. And they make high quality watches. The watches are not junk, that's for sure. Triforce Rich, if you like Seikos, then you will love GS. It's just an extremely better version. Good, that's a very good point. Carlos says, really loved your dad's watch. Comparable or better to anything. Okay, that's the Triforce Rich. Okay. If you want bracelets that fall apart and plastic water pumps, go with German engineering. Um, and Triforce Rich says that, Carlos, happy to hear that. Glad I meant the right choice. Would you be happy to uh, rock it if your son bought one? Okay, okay. This is back and forth between Carlos. Okay, I'm just trying to see if there's anything we need to address here. Rolex builds its brand off timeless design. Someone can look at a 1983 Submariner and not realize it's 37 years old. That's right, and that's a good move. If you've got a great design, why change it? That's why the coming out with that super case was such a fail. Why would you come out with that ugly super case when you already
I
had a
hated it.
beautiful? They already had a beautiful case design. Why would they do that? Let's
Yeah.
see.
I don't like the maxi case, the super case and maxi dial.
And Eduardo says GS has marketing question mark. Yeah, they don't. Brass Razzo says, Assad, are you the British relative of Indian Hashab Habib and
No.
nephew of
No.
Canadian Tanzil?
No.
Okay. Uh,
I've never.
okay. Let's see here. I'm just trying to catch up. I'm imagining the solid gold 231229. That would be great. Well, there you go. A solid gold version of this watch. Okay. GS should recognize more Craig's devotion. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Let's see. 3 top models in hype actor movies. Cheetown Rolex makes 1 million plus watches a year. GS makes about a 20th of that. GS cannot make enough watches. Rolex won't make enough watches. I wonder how many. I wonder if we really know how many watches Grand Seiko really does make. I wonder if we even really know that. It'd be interesting to know.
I
Let's
mean,
see.
I know Adrian from Bark and Jack likes Grand Seiko. I think
Hmm.
he's got one and he didn't flip that one. I think it was the Quartz
I
GMT
think
with
he
the yellow
said
hand.
no. I think he said he's going to sell it. I think he did a video recently saying he's going to
Really?
sell it, but he's going to get another one. So I don't know
Oh,
which
okay.
one. I don't know which one he wants to get, but he claimed he's going to sell it and get something else. So who knows?
What
These.
are the increments of the power reserve?
Okay, so there's 3 sections on mine, and there is. Let
Let's
me
see.
pull it back up on the screen here. Oh well, you can't see the power reserve on my 002 because it's on the back. Um, but anyway, I'll show you mine here close up. This is to the people that are watching, not to you. But anyway,
Yeah.
there are 3 sections to the power reserve, and it's basically each section. There's a third for each one, and each one is a day because it's a 72-hour power reserve.
Day.
So there's 3 days. So there's 3 sections.
That's impressive. Yeah.
So each section represents 24 hours, right?
Yep.
Because it's a 72-hour power reserve. So
And the clicking of the bezel, how does that feel?
it feels very nice. I think it feels very nice. It's very smooth.
Reassuring.
Yeah, I think and it hits right on the mark, right on the marker. And I like the fact that it has 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 on it. I like the fact that the numbers go all the way around as opposed to just having, 10 and 20 like the Rolex has, right? I like that it's got the 30, 40, and the 50 on the bezel. I think that makes it more useful when you're timing things, right?
Definitely.
So, all right, I'm going to let you go because I got some more emails to
Yeah.
check and show. But is there anywhere you'd like to give people for people to follow you on social media?
No, not really. I'm just a guy who watches lots of YouTube content. I've thought about putting some content on, but it is a saturated market now.
Okay.
But maybe in the future, I mean, we'll see if I make any more appearances with your good self, which
Okay.
I'd really like to thank you for the opportunity to
Sure.
speak with you.
Well, sure. Well, I appreciate you being, following the channel and popping in. And when you have something to share or show, don't hesitate to mention it in the chat, and we'll have you call in. We have guests all the time call in. We
That's
we
very
we
kind of you.
we enjoy it. So, all right. Well, we will see you next time. Thank you
Thank
thank you
you
for the
all, and
call.
thank you, Craig.
Yep,
Cheers.
absolutely.
Bye.
Take care. That's how it
Bye.
works. Just as easy as that. We have guests call into the show. All right, now let me get to the email here. Let me get to the email. And Kyle is sending some better pictures of the Baume & Mercier. Okay. And then now this does look like this is yellow gold. Oh, I guess it's the same model. Um, now it's not hateful. It's not a hateful watch. I mean, it's just solid in links and everything. It's actually pretty cool. If you can get a good buy on it. Are you thinking about this for Leslie, or are you thinking about this for you? What size is this watch? Case 36 mil, and it's a 7 mil thick, so it's a very trim watch. You know, I'm having second thoughts. This is not terrible. This is not terrible. If that's the watch, if it's yellow gold, and you can get a good buy on it, that is not that is not bad. That's a lot of watch for the money if you can get a good buy. Let's see here. Let me get caught up here. Traverse Rich, honestly though, for someone of Assad's build, the 231 is a fine choice, especially if he's okay with the class. Said, what size watch do you usually prefer? That should narrow things down for choice. There you go. Good points, Triforce Rich. I'm sure he's still watching. Okay, gotta decline that. I'll let that go into voicemail. Let's see here. He is in there. Okay, all right. There are people missing from William's Discord. Okay, what is the Discord? Okay. Okay. It's just a chat we are in off the. Okay. Good. Okay. I think enough time is wasted here. Don't need another platform. Okay. There you go. Yeah, I'm not hanging out in the Discord. I don't have time. Bree Fit Dance is in the house, and she says nice watch. So there you go. The lovely Bree thinks it looks good. I think it looks pretty good too. I have to say, I think it looks pretty good. Oh, come on. Trying to sell us a Rolex all of a sudden. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I'm hip. Very trim, very trim. 18 karat yellow gold, absolutely. Okay, let's check emails again. And then we're going to wrap this up. We've been going an hour, folks, just like that. Just like that, we've blown through an hour. Just like that. Yeah, this is that limited edition that we've seen before. That we actually have a, who is it? We actually have a subscriber that bought this watch. Now, it is a high beat, so of course it's not going to be as accurate as a spring drive. But it's a beast. It's a beast of a piece. If somebody wants a beast, that's a beast. Too much of a beast for me, though. I don't want something that big on wrist. Let's see. Craig, are we really more important than your clients? Well, I mean, it's a live show here. I'm not going to take a phone call right in the middle of the show. They can leave a message. I'll call them back. So, Assad says, Mr. Q, maybe 36 millimeter. Triforce Rich, I wish Craig was active in the Discord. Craig, what's your opinion on the 18 karat gold Tag Carrera? Send a link, Lance, and do it quick, because I'm getting ready to wrap this up. Like that dial. I agree, that dial was nice. I agree. Both of them, both the dials were good. The one on the diver we just looked at and the Bowman Mercier we just looked at had a nice dial. I agree with that. Kyle, I'm not sure about masks and Herods. Masks are so freaking silly. What a joke. Yeah, there's a few real serious problems with masks. One is it gives people a false sense of security, right? Here's the thing. If somebody is susceptible, if they're at risk, and they go out and about, a mask is not going to protect them, and they can't assume that anybody that's infected that's going to be around them is wearing a mask. So in other words, they're still at risk if they go out and about. And the problem is the people that are wearing the masks, they are putting themselves more at risk because if they get the thing on their hands and they mess with the mask, which you invariably do when you're wearing masks, you mess with the masks, right? You adjust them or you whatever. You're not even thinking about it, but you do. It puts you more at risk that you're going to get infected because you're wearing the damn mask. So the mask is a total fail. But don't get me started on this overreaching government and all the failures and all the mistakes they've made and so on and so forth, because that would be a whole nother show. Let's see here. Trevor Switch. By the way, I'm turning to your opinion a bit about Rolex. It has attracted people who could care less about watches and now have to have every model because they are hard to get. None of these guys were into this hobby a few years ago. Sent the photo. Okay. All right, let's see if the photo. Yeah, let's see what we've got here. I have to tell you, it's not an ugly piece. I have to tell you, it's not an ugly piece. I'm going to straight up say that's not an ugly piece. That would be fine. I mean, it really would. That would be a nice little dress watch for somebody to wear. Yeah. I'm going to give a 2 thumbs up for that. I'm assuming you can get it really affordably. That's not a bad situation. I like the fact that all these yamokes are chasing steel. So we can get some good buys on some solid 18 karat gold watches. I'm happy with that. I'll go with that plan. Yes, and Peter says, yes, if somebody will tell you you bought not famous company Rolex in 1960 watch, it's like buying now Grand Seiko today. I got you. What will you learn about... what you will learn about Craig is that he is actually wealthy and doesn't need to factor in his watch's value in his significant net worth. Okay. Well, I don't think anybody should be counting their watches as part of their net worth. I think that's a serious mistake, to be counting jewelry as your net worth. I don't really think that's a good way to handle that. Steel Sports ceramic bezel Rolex are like collectible Barbie dolls for wealthy middle-aged men. Lance, but how serviceable is that Carrera? It would probably be fine. It would probably run fine, and probably any decent watchmaker could probably service that puppy. I would guess. Kyle's in the house. That was prior to the merger or the okay. California, Cheetown. They are not all wealthy. This is the sad part. People are buying them because it maintains and goes up in value. If the market crashes, they'll burn. Yeah, they're going to get caught holding the bag. Okay. All right, folks. On that note, we're going to wrap it up. Oh, I should give Bree her little plug because she was in the chat earlier. She was kind enough to come in and pop into the chat. The lovely Bree. BreeFitDance.com. You can go there and you can find links to her social media and follow her. She put out a video recently dancing. She was wearing a little bikini. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. All I can say is, wow. So go there and follow her on all her social media, and it's talk about some high quality entertainment. That's what you'll get there. Let's see. Eduardo says, isn't that what all the cool kids do these days? Chains and drips is who much money? Okay. Let's see here. I think when you will need to service watch is never a good time. Then I will remember Craig laughing as his watches will never need service. Again, salad and low mayo plus, okay. Wait, Craig, says Derek. Hey, Derek, we talked about day dates up one side and down the other in this show. We've already covered day dates. Lance is in the house. Let's see. We can't end yet, says Derek. Who the hell eats salads with mayonnaise? All right, folks, we're going to have to wrap this puppy up. Make sure you click subscribe and click the bell. Some folks said they weren't getting notifications. Make sure that bell is clicked so that you'll get notifications. Thank you all for tuning in.